And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 196. So we're still working on the Ekranoplan here. I really want to kind of get this shaped up. So I did a tiny bit off screen. It was mostly just moving microcontrollers around, kind of plumbing some things up, some of the boring stuff. And so presently we're in good shape. So I still have the cormorant kind of hanging off the butt there. As you see, it's sunk. Almost have everything out of there. Pretty close. So let's get this fired up and you'll kind of see where I'm at. I'm not that far ahead, so. Engine starting up. Once that gets going here, we'll move. All right, so things are pretty well set up now, so I don't have to do all that much automation-wise. So let's go ahead, and I've already figured out my maximum around my best speed prop setting. So my prop setting is going to be up around 30, which is where I want it. Generally, 30 is where I like to be. That gives me good range, as far as having a good efficiency and having good, keeping the RPS down. So anyways, so we're all set up here. Um, we have the propeller pitch set. Let's go ahead and go full throttle. We have good speed and power on this. As you can see, it's behaving itself. We're easily getting well over rotation speed, which is around 60. As you can see, we're already up to 150 plus knots. Let's go ahead and enter in an altitude. So let's go ahead. This needs a little bit of work, but let's put 20 feet in there. Let's go ahead and set the autopilot. As you can see, this is going to maintain. It's running a little bit high. As you can see, it's at 35 feet. So if I set that down to 5, that's just probably where the altimeter is kind of sitting and how the PID's set up. An issue I'm having is with roll, and so what I want to start doing is, this here is going to be my p-value on my roll PID, and so I need to work on this. So what I'm going to start to do is, right now I'm headed 4 heading, so I'm going to do about a 25 degree, let's do 30. So that would be to our right, a little less than 30 degrees, 20-something degrees, 25 degrees about. And so we should do that as I enter this in. So it used to be 12. 12 was far too high. So let's do 0.1. All right, and the reason why I was having issues before with just the stock autopilot for the Cormorant was the p-value was 12. We had separate ailerons. Here we have linked ailerons. They do both pitch and they do roll. And because of that, if I try to roll really quick, it will also pitch me, and that will cause instability. So I want to do this very slowly. So let's go to 1. Let's go up to 12, make sure it's... Alright, so see, it appears to be doing nothing at the moment. That's heading hold, 30, altitude hold. Okay, we're at 30. Okay, so it turned. Let's go back down, and let's go to 1. Let's go to 60, so we'll do 30 degrees right. So as you see, it dips the nose a little bit, but it's turning pretty reliably. It is automatically yawing, which is good. And there's 60, so it's upsetting a little bit. Let's do a big turn. Let's go 180. Again, it's a PID, so the further the turn, the more it should do it. And as you can see, it plunks us in the water. All right, so of course that's not going to work for us. So what I could do as well is let's do this. All right, let's do this. This is a good way to do this. So let's go in here. Let's grab a dial. Again, the old friend, the dial. One of the best ways to figure information out is to toss a dial in here. And I'm going to make them pink. This just reminds me to delete stuff is when they're pink. If I don't paint them, sometimes you're like, what's that? Well, if it's pink, I know that's got to go. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read my roll element. So we have, where are we at here? So I just want gyro roll, essentially. Where are we at? Gyro roll. So let's take gyro roll, and let's plug it in here. And I want to see where is the maximum roll deflection that is comfortable, that doesn't really doesn't really try to overturn me. So let's go to 1 on there. Again, let's go ahead and we will start up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this, and I'm going to see what is our max setting. So essentially I'm going to clamp it. So I really don't care how much the PID wants, as long as I clamp it properly. We shouldn't have issues. So the PID could go crazy, but I want it to say, hey, that's the max roll you're getting, guy, and kind of, keeping us safe. All right, we're above 60. Let's rotate around 80. Probably an aircraft this size, 80 is a better rotation anyway. So I kind of want to keep it low. I want it up. I'm going to hit the water if I'm not careful. All right, I had to turn the autopilot master on. So we're at set. We're about 28 feet. That's going to be about my normal cruising height, maybe a little bit lower, but I don't want too low. So I want it pretty close to the water here. Let's just put a 1 in here. I just can't put 0. That shuts it off. I'll change that later. But they're about 26 feet. Like I said, I do need to fix that. But 26 feet, that's pretty good, close to the water cruising altitude. And now I'm going to put in a heading. So I'm going to do a slight heading. Let's go 30 degrees right and read it. 0.02. Okay. 0.02 is not bad. Let's go double that. Let's go to 90. That's 60 degrees to the right. That is, what is that reading? See, I don't know why this reads so low. Okay, so this is set to 1. Let's go a big turn. So let's go 180 degrees from us now. So that'd be 270. See if it misbehaves. Okay, that's pretty good. It actually isn't misbehaving too much. The issue is it's also see, I'm gonna be doing more yaw than normal on this. Okay, let's up this to 2. That's double the p-value. Let's make it 4, double that again. There we go. This is turning nicely here, so this might actually be pretty easy to fix. Yeah, I'm liking this. So let's try this at 0.4, and let's do another one. We'll start at 0.4. Once we roll out on 270, we'll go back to 90. And that's going to give us the most extreme turn. All right, so see that upset us too much? Okay, that's fine. So let's go ahead and let's decrease that down to 3. All I want is I don't want this to upset us so much that it does that big bobble, because if we're even closer to the ground or the water, it could dunk us. And so I don't want it to misbehave. So it's actually not too bad here. I could also clamp it. I could bring the clamp in as well, but I also don't want the PID to act too crazy. So we're turning really well. Like, look at our rate of turn. We're actually turning pretty well. Let's go back to 270 here. Again, this gives us the most extreme. A little bit of that bobble I don't like. So let's go to 2. Let's roll out on a heading close to us. Let's go 180. I'm just trying to get these bobbles, so I'm going to do a 360 after this and see if it behaves itself. It's not terrible, but I'd like it to not do that. Okay. All right. That's better. What are we at? 2? Let's try it at 1. 1 was pretty good, I think. So let's go to... We're actually turning pretty quickly, which I'm happy with. You know, plenty quick. See, there's FJ Warner Dock here. We're out just making circles. Might have to play with that smoke. I'm not super opposed to the smoke, but I might try to get rid of it. All right, let's go ahead and go 90, see how this behaves. So I changed the PID to 1, so let's see if 90. A little bit of a bobble, but it's not terrible. It's doing a consistent roll angle, that's fine. Let's cut the P down even more. So what are we at here? Let's let it continue to 90. I'm going to cut it down to, let's do 0.5, so we'll do half of that. As long as it's going to a max roll deflection, which I believe I have it set to do, it's fine. It's just how quickly the PID says, hey, turn now. You know, it's trying to get to that max deflection as soon as possible. I should be able to nip that in the bud. So let's go ahead and do 270. Didn't like that at all. Oh, I put 270 up there. Oh my god. P-value of 270. That's why I put it in the wrong friggin' thing. I gave it a p-value of 270 when I wanted like 0.05. Let's just go right ahead, do 0.25. We'll go down even further. So we'll do a p-value of 0.25. And we'll see how that does for us. I think that will be good. Let's go ahead and put a 5 in here. That won't activate until I turn on the autopilot anyway. All right, let's go ahead and we'll go up 30. We'll go ahead and start bringing our throttle up as I go. I'm going to wait till 80. 80 will be my rotation speed. It will engage the autopilot. Okay, we'll set this to 0.25. And let's go ahead. We're headed about north. Let's go ahead. I'm going to get a little distance from the dock. I don't want to turn right into the dock here. Get a little, you know, if I'm not paying attention, we'll crash right into it. Okay, heading hold now. 180. All right, so we had a little bobble, but it's not bad. Rate of turn has not gone down, so I'm not losing my rate of turn. Let's visually look at it, see how quickly we turn around. What I can do, too, is I can increase the yaw. I might increase the yaw a little bit. So if I increase the p-value on the yaw or even the clamp on the yaw, that should help. You know, this is not supposed to be banking much. You wouldn't want to bank too much, and the reason why is we'll do a little flight school again here. And so I'll show you why. Again, I kind of miss doing flight instruction type stuff. So if we think of our wing, right? Let's get a big 20 there. Okay. So this is our wing. All right. So when we're doing normal flight, right? When we're just headed straight ahead, essentially. When we're wings level, our lift vector looks like this. You have your lift vector going up. That is lift. That's probably can't see that. It's probably too small. That's lift. Then we have your, essentially your mass coming down this way. So that is your, essentially that's your mass. Okay, so you have lift going up and you have mass, okay? Now the issue comes when we try to make a turn. So when we go to make a turn, we have our wings are turning, and that's going to cause us to turn. So now what we do is if we look at our lift vector, right, we are lifting this way, and we are lifting this way. Up. It's going to be better if I do a line here. Oh, jeez. We're lifting this way. Oh, jeez. Let me click the right button, huh? I can't do a straight up and down line. There we go. And that's our lift, right? So we're also lifting up. We need to stay in the air. We also need to use some lift to turn. And so our resultant lift vector looks like that. All right. So some of our lift is going up. Some of our lift is going over. Now, the shallower that line is, of course, so that's about a 45-degree angle. Okay. So if we make our line shallower, let's say it looks like that, right? Now we look at a resultant lift vector, and the longer the lines are, the more lift is going there. So this is our lift here, right? And we have lift going here, but you notice how the line's shorter, so most of our lift is keeping us in the air. Some of our lift is pulling us to the left. Our resultant lift vector looks like this. All right, so, you know, you think of it as a grid. Part of it goes up to lift the aircraft, part of it's turning it. So our resultant lift vector is it's probably more like there, but you know what I mean. So that's our resultant lift vector there. And so the more you bank, the more of this lift you're giving up. So let's do it a little bit more scientific here. So let's do a 45. All right, we'll try to keep it. There's a 45 right there. Okay. So there's a 45-degree angle, okay? So let's measure this. So if we have this much lift, right, I have to effectively come in and I have to cut out 50% of this lift, right? Can I rotate this? Nope. How do I rotate just that? I can't remember. So essentially, let's delete that. So now we only have this much lift. because our wing can only make so much lift, right? So now we only have this much lift over here. So if we're losing lift keeping us up, well, we'll sink. Well, what do we have to do? We have to pitch up. So we have to pitch up. We have to do that. So the shallower our bank, the less we have to worry about that lift, the less we're upsetting our vertical lift. And so we have to keep that in mind as we're kind of setting this up. And also the way we're flying. So we don't want to bank too much. So one of the reasons we have a shallow bank here is this aircraft needs to stay in ground effect. All right. So I meant to show you one other thing. It was actually the reason I started showing you the drawing, and I kind of got sidetracked and didn't show you. But so now let's imagine again, right? So we're in ground effect. All right. So ground effect is it's half the wing essentially. So let's say the wing is I don't know. We'll make up easy numbers here, and I'll try to do it. So let's say this is our wing. I'll try to get it right in the center. So that's our wing in the center. Okay, so say this is a square. It's not a perfect square, but let's say this is a perfect square. So our ground effect is best within 50% of the wing. So you take this wing, you swing it this way. That's how much we can do. Now, if I go ahead and I come in and I turn my wing at 45 degrees, right? Let me try to get that better on the line here. Even though I might still be within that half wing distance, this part of the wing isn't. So this wing here on the left side, that is still in ground effect fine. This one's coming out of ground effect. This wing is making more lift than this wing. That's trying to push this wing up. That's trying to, we have less lift. That's trying to drop this wing down. So it's going to try to level us out. And so we kind of want this to be flatter. We don't want to be doing 45-degree banks. We want to be doing very slight, like 20s. Also, our yaw, our rudder is going to be more important in this vehicle. So that's kind of one of the reasons we don't want to be doing what happened. Apparently, I didn't stop this from flying. But so we don't want to be doing big banks in this. That's kind of the short of it. All right, so let's go ahead and get in here. Let me set a number that I like for this p-value. Let's set 0.2. That's the lowest we've tried so far. Let's start up. Let's go ahead and All right, engine's up. Let's go ahead and start putting prop in, and let's start bringing the throttle up at the same time. All right, let's get it. Rotate at 80 knots. 80 knots, rotate. Okay, let's throw a 5 in here. 5. Again, I'm trying to use those same settings, make life easy. This is now a 0.2. Let's make it a 0.1. All right, let's go ahead. We're going 352. Let's just go 90 so that I can then go 270. 90, very little oscillation. We're only going 90 degrees, so we're going to get probably that bigger oscillation when we're going 180 degrees because that's going to be our biggest turn, but I'm not concerned, really. So we'll let this roll out at 90, and then I'm going to make my turn to... Now, you see how close FJ Warner is? If I can make that turn within FJ Warner, I'm more than happy. So let's go ahead and do a 270. I hope it'll turn right. Okay, so now let's see. As long as we can make this turn within that FJ Warner, I'm happy. You see how I have a very shallow bank angle? I don't want a lot of bank angle. I don't want this left wing here, my port wing, as we take a right bank, I don't want that coming out of ground effect. I want that to stay in ground effect. Now, I could simulate this further with putting an altimeter on either pylon. And so if it comes outside, it's going to automatically fight us. I'm probably not going to go. See, like, we're turning perfectly... We're turning reasonably tight enough. As you see, we were able to turn with an FJ Warner. I have no problem with that. This should be kind of sluggish. I shouldn't be able to do a 90-degree knife edge bank because my wing's going to come out of ground effect, at least 50% of it. And a knife edge bank, you need to have so much back pressure, there's just no way. So this is more effective for this type of craft to do what I'm doing now. So this is pretty good. All right, so let's go with 0.1. So I'm actually going to write that down because I inevitably will forget it. So let's go 0.1 for the P roll. Pitch is fine. Yaw, let me kick my yaw. Let me go full yaw on this. See what it looks like. So I'm going to increase my yaw. So let's go ahead back to the workbench here. let's play with our yaw settings. So most aircraft, I don't want a ton of yaw. It's not realistic. You wouldn't be doing it. You'd be using mostly bank. This type of aircraft would be more reliant on yaw. So presently, where's my yaw control here? So yaw, yaw right here. Okay, so yaw right there. All right, so this here, I'm going to go in here, and then I want to change this P roll to 0.1. See, it was 12 before because it was in a regular airplane. I could afford to do a big, fast bank. I can't in this. Let's change this from P roll to P yaw. P pitch is fine. Pitch is fine. I don't need to screw with pitch. It's working well. So let's find our yaw. Yaw fin right here. So our P yaw is 0.03. So it's good to know what it is to start with. So 0.03, I'm clamping it at 30%. You saw I was going at 100% and it was fine. So let's go ahead and let's make this 100%. And then I'm going to hook this up. So 0.03. And so we'll update that. Now let's go play with our yaw. And now our autopilot should be set in nicely. So we should be able to, I still have some tweaking here and there, but that can be done during the build series. So 0.03, let's start with a 1. Okay. Now let's go ahead. I should start the engine right off the bat to save time. So again, I'm happy with the rate it's turning, but I like to yaw just a little bit more. And we'll see how this behaves. If I don't like it, we can always revert back to where it was. Okay, so I'm coming up on prop pitch at the same time. I'll start increasing my thrust just to save some speed, some time. All right, 80 knots, rotate. 80, rotate. Up easily, getting the hang of this, getting the hang of how this behaves. Autopilot's on. Let's get a little distance from FJ Warner before I try doing a turn. We should be able to turn tighter. Let's go ahead and we will put a heading in of 90. Just make sure I set that. Yep, 1. Okay, set that to 90. Much too much yaw. So let's do 0.03 again. All right, we're at 90. Let's go ahead and go to 70. Yeah, so it's trying to skid us. That's called skidding. You don't want to skid. That will cause air to dump out from under the wing. You really don't want to be skidding like this. Slipping would be coming into the turn. Skidding is coming out of the turn. Those are actually technical terms. I don't need that full deflection. We are at 30%. So let's go ahead back to the workbench. I don't think we're close enough. Let me grab it. All right, so the p-value was fine. Let's keep that p-value. I'm happy with the p-value that it was at. And with that complete, I can actually get rid of that too. So 0.3 is good. P-yaw can go. This here was at 30%. Let's do 0.45. Let's go. Now we're at 45%. All right, so that gives us an extra 15% of movement. Let's go ahead and get rid of this P-yaw. And let's shrink this panel up. And we're done screwing with that, I think. Let's go ahead and with my new settings, let's give this a run. I should be happy with this. We just added 15% yaw. I don't think that's going to skid us too much. You always want to be coordinated in an airplane. I'm not going to go into coordination, but you know, generally when you turn, you want to add some rudder. Not always dependent. In jets, you usually have yaw damper, and you don't really need to touch the yaw much at all. Propeller planes have torque effects and everything you have to counteract, so those tend to be situations you have to do that more with. But in general, as you turn, you need to coordinate with some rudder. 80 knots, we're going to rotate. Go ahead, stick 5 in here. That's in there. Okay, let's turn to 090. Okay, so that feels better. That doesn't feel or look like I'm skidding too much. I'm skidding a hair. I can definitely tell I'm skidding a hair, but it's not bad. And I can always dial it in more. Let's go ahead and turn 270, 270. I could probably even use a little bit lower p-value just so that it yaws a little bit slower. But that is functioning well, as you can see. We're still making a big turning circle, and we should. We're going 150-something knots. Yeah, let's increase. Let's try to get up to a max speed. Let's go to 40. I think 40 is probably over our max speed prop. Maybe not. We're still climbing speed. See how we're close to FJ Warner now? I'm going to yaw away here just so we don't hit. Okay. That was just me. The heading was, I was wrong. 290 would keep me away from FJ Warner. Even me screwing with it and letting go, you see how it's recovering itself? I didn't have to, it didn't crash. I didn't upset it too much. But this is working very nicely. Let me see if I can't get, let me do -5 here. I want to get closer to the water. I have to fix this altimeter. I have to figure out what it is. It could be a conversion issue. I just essentially have to set the 0 is essentially what I have to do. So see that bridge? Let's come 20 left. Let's do 250 actually. We're moving fast enough. I'm going to probably need... Nope. 270 was right. 20 degrees. I had it right the first time. Now we're going to need to do 300 probably to get there. 290. There we go. Come on, click it. I can almost get the autopilot to take me out of the bridge. Just trying to get a picture of it under the bridge here. There we go. Okay. So this is working really well. Explained in earlier videos why we have a nose down pitch attitude. That's normal. Again, if I were to add flaps in a commercial airliner, you'd start to get more of a nose pitch down attitude because your center of lift is now pushing up on you from your wings. So it's gonna lower your deck angle. Now let's watch this try to maintain. If you remember, as we get out of ground effect, that lift will be going away. So we have so much lift from our main wings that we have to pitch the nose down, essentially reducing the angle of attack of the wing in order to keep us from climbing. As we get out of ground effect, if you would watch the previous videos, you know that these fins are simulating ground effect. Those are going to go from neutral to negative. We're going to have to actually do a lot of pitch nose up. Let me change my heading here. We're going to have to do a bunch of pitch nose up to, that yaw's a little bit too rambunctious, but we have to do a bunch of nose pitch up. Our angle of attack is going to have to increase because we're not producing enough lift with the wing, so we have to use the angle of the wing to do more. So let's go ahead and go up some altitude here. Let's go to 30. Whatever, 32 is fine. That's set in meters, I believe. It might be feet. I can't. No, it's feet probably. So we're starting to get out of the ground effect regime here. As you can see, my fins there are pretty much flat. All right, look at my deck angle. See how I have a positive deck angle? My angle of attack now is just slightly pitched up because I've lost the ground effect, okay? Which is fine. I think the plane that this was that inspired this Ekranoplan could actually fly up to 9,600 feet. You just had to get up to speed, you know. So we're up to 61 knots. Let's see how fast I can push this. Let's get up to... Okay, so we're starting to get critical where we are there. So 32. Let's do 43. Nope. So this is how you find your best speed. So right there, 42 is my best speed. So 42% prop is best speed. Now we might be able to get better speeds if we went really low because we get higher RPM, but we'd be burning a ton of fuel, making a ton of noise, making a ton of heat. This way, we're getting our best speed at a reasonable RPM. You see we're down 800. I don't know. I think I have engine. You see, engine temp is overheating. That's fine. That's something I'm going to work on. I'm not concerned about that right now. All right, so now let's go up higher in altitude. Let's just go to 150 feet. This should have no problem going 150 feet, but these fins, as you can see, they're starting to angle down. These fins are actually trying to drag us down. That's simulating that this wing is not designed for... This wing is not designed to be out of ground effect, so it's still producing lift, but it's not producing as much lift as it was in ground effect. So we're simulating leaving ground effect. So something's up with this. Is this what? Why is that reading like this? I have to figure out what's up with my altitude hold. Let's do. I don't want to do too big of a number. 500. Yeah, I don't know why this is not behaving itself. I don't know what's up with that. I have to check into this. What this is? It's still doing altitude holds. It's just not behaving. Let's do 5,000. Let's do something nuts. Okay, I need to figure out what's up with that. But as you can see, as we get at a ground effect, we need a greater deck angle, a higher angle of attack to maintain our altitude, essentially. You know what I wonder if it is? I wonder if it's that propeller causing us problems. I don't know. Probably not, but I have to work on that with the altitude hold and why this is causing me problems here with my pitch. Because see, I can override the pitch. I bet it's a gyro setting maybe. See, I'm struggling to get it out of there as well. Let's take this off, see if I can't get us some altitude. All right, let's try. We're coming up on land here. That's kind of rocky, craggy land. I kind of wish we were still by the arid biome. Be careful here. Let's go ahead and I'll screw with that later. But let's just go to -5 here on our altitude. Set that back on. Where are we at here? Okay, we're over by Spy Cakes. Let's go ahead and we'll do a flight over. Let me take the autopilot off completely. Oh, don't do it. Okay, I overdid the... Okay, that's fine. I overdid the... You see how far we've gotten already? So we're already from here up there, so it's moving nice and fast. We would have overheated, but that's going to be... I'm going to work on that, so... Stop teleporting me and teleport the vehicle, please. Thank you. All right, so I was able to override the ailerons too much and crash us. So what I want to do is I don't want myself to be able to control this more than this will. So where are we at here? So let me see, my roll input, or my, let's see, let's go back to, this is too much for me. I think 30 was right. There we go. All right, where are we at here? Roll, I'm limiting myself to 0.07. See, that's reading off roll tilt. That's fine. This is going to be seat. All right, so what I want to do is I want to be able to limit my own roll to what this does. So right now I'm not limiting myself. What's this? 0.07. Okay, so I actually don't have a clamp in here. All right, that's interesting. What is going on here? Oh, okay, that's reading yaw fin up here to there. Okay, roll. Okay, it's comparing it to that. Let's try to limit this roll. I don't know what I want for a number. Let's do 75%. I can change it later. I just don't want it so that I can crash it easily like that by being over rambunctious. I want it to be as heavy as it should be. All right, let's check out why my altitude hold is not working properly. Bearing micro 9, PID. That's bearing micro. This here is what? Vertical speed. Okay, we have vertical speed. We have desired altitude. Altimeter. Bearing micro to there, 9. 9 should be the autopilot button, turns this on. Clamping that at a value. Going into vertical speed. So I've clamped essentially the max vertical speed I want. P values in there. Pitch fin add. See, like even I'm having issues with this. So that could be a gyro issue. So let's go ahead and update this. And let me try to fix this with the gyro. So the gyro sensitivity on pitch, let's go to 25 maybe. Now let's see if I can't get have this climb to where I want it. Because I'm not getting enough pitch authority. And so once I can get through this, I'm gonna probably off screen rip off things like nav lights off the cormorant, stick those on here. This is pretty much almost ready to go. I'm gonna hide. I'll show you. Maybe I'll hide these fins while you guys are watching. That will be interesting, probably. Just gonna do a little bit of XML. I don't want to do too much off screen, but some of the monotonous stuff I'll do off screen. So what are we at? 40. Good thing I wrote it down. I already forgot. 42% is my best speed. $80 knots is going to be rotate, rotate. Let's go ahead and set 20 in here. I'm hoping that with that gyro setting will actually hold me where I want. Let's go down to 5. So it seems like it has a bad correction value that needs to be fixed, but that's not a big deal. It's my current heading 0. Let's just put a 10 heading in here. All right, that's turning better. It's less jerky-herky. Let's go up to 500 feet. We should be slowly, very slowly climbing. I'm not. Let me override it. All right, so it's probably too low of a p-value. See, I should have no problem climbing up to 500 feet, but it's going to take a lot of pitch. And that's going to slow me down. This is not supposed to behave well trying to climb up to a high altitude. It's going to have problems. Okay, so that's fine. So it still should be able to climb up reasonably. Like, we're at 200 feet. We have completely, not only have we lost our ground effect value, look at those fins. It's probably tough to see, but you can see they're aiming down. They're fighting us. And that's, again, this wing is not designed to be up here. This wing is designed to be down in ground effect. Now, as I get into ground effect, it's going to settle itself in a ground effect. And it almost acts like a cushion. Watch the deck angle as I start to lower us in there. Let's go like this. Let's go from about 100 feet. I'm going to set our desired cruising altitude of, let's say, 20. Now let's watch. Oh, wow. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, that was way crazy. All right, that way misbehaved. Definitely don't want to screw with the p-value on that then. Okay, that needs p-value work. All right. That most certainly needs p-value work if it's going to do that and ram us into the ocean. All right. Pitch. Okay. All right, pitch fin there. 0.06. These need to be done separately. So essentially we have the desired altitude. Desired altitude. Okay, so this is my correction right here. So this correction I'm going to get rid of. That correction's probably about what's wrong with it. This is going to convert the altimeter from meters to feet. Okay, keep that. Don't need the correction anymore. This is setting our vertical speed. I don't want to touch that. That is fine. Maybe. Is that fine? This here could probably be tuned. So let's tune this one here. All right. And then I'll do a little cosmetic work to finish up. And then, again, I'm going to just spend some... I don't want to do too much tweaking with you guys watch. It'll just be boring. And then... oops, I already screwed us up here. This panel is not connected anymore. So this needs to be reconnected. I forgot I deleted it and then put it back. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in here and let's get the engine started right off the bat. So that's going. All right, so it was 0.25. Let's make it 1. Okay, that started. Let's go ahead and do manifold up to 42. Again, we want our best speed for takeoff. We're going to start increasing our thrust. 80 knots will rotate. 80 knots, rotate. Go ahead and we'll put in 20 feet. We took off 12-foot correction on there. So we're about 12 feet off. So we're about 3 feet off now. So you can probably do a 3-foot correction. That's not a big deal, but you know, I'll put a 3 or 4, 3.5 foot correction in there, something like that. Okay, let's put a 350 heading in here. Want to make sure that doesn't bobble too much. So my pitch is at 1. You see how much it's jerking up and down, up and down? So it's 0.25. Let's try 0.1. See how it's much more solid, but look. See how it's off altitude now? So I want this to still go down to the right altitude, but I don't want it to. See, now we're not going back down to 20. Let me turn here. I need to turn to 90. 90 should run us for quite a while before it before we have to do any turns. You know, we can run east forever essentially. So. All right, so this is still too low, so 0.25 is probably the lowest we can have. Oh, there's Megalodon. I thought I had everything shut off, creature-wise. Oh, whatever, it's on. All right, 3-1, where do you have the 20? I'll try to get this to be very accurate, too. All right, so now let's try some other altitudes while we're at it. So let's go to 100 feet. All right, so now it's more responsive, but we need to be careful. I don't want this to dive into the ocean. So what I could do as well is, so my pitch up, I could clamp this so I have less pitch up, or I have more pitch up than I have pitch down. That could fix issues. All right, good. So we're climbing. It wants to stop here. I don't know why. Let's try a larger number. Let's just try a big number, see if it will go up. It doesn't like going over 54 feet for some reason. It's weird. See, like I can over pitch it here fine. You know what oh. Okay, it's trying to fight me too much. First, I'm going to stop it from fighting me. Stop fighting me. What is it doing? Why can't I, let's see. All right, so I'm going to do this a different way. I think the p-value was actually not too bad. I think the clamp is what I should change. Let me see, 0.25. All right, trying to let us float back up to the top here, and then we'll get going here. So altitude hold, let's do 100 feet. That's fine and hitting. The AP master's off, so it shouldn't do anything. Still running. We're still up and running. Let's go ahead and prop pitch is fine. Let's go at full throttle. 80 knots will rotate. There is 80. Let's rotate. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Yeah, it was fighting me the whole time, so. Okay, let's go ahead and go back down to 20. Make sure, see if it dives into the ocean. Okay. So, I need to... Don't want to lower that too much because then it won't grab the altitudes I want. Yeah, see, it doesn't want to grab the altitudes that I want now, so I have to clamp it. Okay, so let's go up to 0.5. Let's go up to 100. I'm just going to make sure this behaves itself. And I should be able to clamp this off. Okay, let's go back down to 20, see how it behaves. All right. The one thing I didn't do here that I should have done is, and I'll do right now. All right, so let's do this. Look in here. I'm going to hook 0.25 back up because that's actually not an issue. Vertical speed. So what are we at? 7.62. So that's 25 foot times 60. So that's just 25 feet times 60. That's 1,500 feet per minute. So 1,500 foot per minute climb rate is, I've set my max climb rate, essentially. And so what I need to do here is I need to set a, what is this negative here? Okay, that's fine. Negative there, add to mine, that's fine. I need to clamp this. So I wonder if a standard one-to-one clamp will work because this isn't clamped out. This is going over the value. Let's just try this. Let's see if this will work for me. That could be that simple that was the problem. Let's go take a run and see. I'm still having issues why it's not climbing up high, but I'll figure that out on my own. It's not going to be interesting for me to just go through and test and go through and test. All right, let's go to a 45. Should have done one thing to hide this before I showed it to you. 42 rather. There we go. Full throttle, 80 knots. We'll rotate. And rotate. Put a heading altitude 20 in here. The problem is looking back as I'm trying to do it, but it's stable enough that it doesn't have a problem. All right. So that could use a correction value. It would probably help, but let's go ahead and put 100 in here. I'll probably move this panel up here. I don't know. Maybe up here. I have a lot of space now, so like this extra row here I have. So. All right, now let's dump the nose down to 20. Still doing it. Okay. Try one thing here. Forget what this was set to initially. Pitch was 25. Let's go down. Don't want to screw with this too much here. This is kind of not how I want to do it. Yeah. I'll play with this. This is just tuning stuff. Let's do this. This will be, I think, a little bit more interesting. And then I'll just do one super quick run to check to make sure I didn't break anything. All right, so let's grab all these fins. Let's cut them. Let's stick them right there. I had tried before to actually make these wing fences wider, and it added a lot of drag. I might, you know what? Let's not do what I'm doing here. Okay. Let's not do this. This is going to be weird. Let's try this really quick to make sure that this isn't a problem. I had other issues that I think might be able to just do this normally here. I'll finish up with this here. This will also give me more buoyancy, so I don't think I think that will overcome the drag a little bit with the amount of buoyancy that I'm going to add to it. So I don't think I'm all that worried. Okay. All right, that's good there. Let's go and finish the front. fixing this here. Yeah, that's more what I want. Okay. Nope. What am I doing here? This angle, I remember, I was trying to do something like this earlier and it was just screwing me, this angle. So I might have to go one wider on these. Let me see if I can make these go one wider. I was having drag issues before, but hopefully I can overcome it with buoyancy, and we'll see. Actually want the pyramids now. All right, I'll try to finish up here soon with this. Just want to get these hidden and checked. That's fine like that for now, at least. I don't like that angle, but I can try to fix here. This. And I'll fix that later. Just want to kind of make sure this isn't going to disrupt everything. Okay, so what I need to do here is 18. That's not ideal that it's not even. 18 is not ideal. So where do we want to delete it? Probably from the back. That should now be 17. 17. Okay. So 9, where's 9? 9's right there. This gets deleted. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm doing here in a second. So that's my center between these. So what I need to do is I need to make a XML block that is essentially that wide. And I need to fill this so that this actually is sealed. Where are we at there? Sealed. So this volume's sealed now. I can actually cut into this and make this all... Nope, I can't. Can I cut up? Yeah, I can cut up. Okay. This can be cut up here, so... I'm going to say if symmetry's not on, there'll be tears. Okay. So this is all hollowing now. Okay, good. So that is now sealed up. All right, and so what I need to do is I'm gonna hide all these fins. So I need 17 wide. So let's go ahead and save this. Just do it on this one here. Start a new one, and we'll finish up in one sec here. All right, so this is going to be our 17W block. Actually, I don't want it. Let's do a wedge. $17W wedge. Okay, 17W wedge. Let's go ahead and stand by one sec. Let's grab we'll bring up Strunner's utility here. Eventually. Okay, good. Let's go wedge. I don't think it's 17, but let's check it. Count them. Where's my center? Right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, no, that was right. 8. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 was too much. So down 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So that's 15. All right, so let's then go open up the we'll open up our data file for the 17 wedge that I just made. And I clicked the wrong button. There we go. Okay, so right here on this first value is going to be 15 now. All right, so that's saved. Let's go ahead and we will fix it. We'll grab it in game. So let's go ahead and we'll load up the Ekranoplan integration systems. We'll go ahead and import the 17 wedge. You have a nice long wedge here, as you can see. And so let's go ahead and we'll plant this. And it's going to be way too short. No, is it? No, it's just, it might be too short. I'm going to have to fix it. So the collision is there, so I need to go 1 block wider. Okay, so 2 clicks, because each click is a block. So let's load up. Actually, I don't need to load up. I just need to load up. I'll do it off screen here. You guys don't need to see me just change the number by 2, but so it's going to be 13. Save that. Go ahead and I'm going to clear this and I'll load this, and this should now be, I meant to go the other way. I went the wrong way. I went down, I meant to go up. So 17. So 17 was right. I don't know why I doubted myself off the bat, so. Okay, so this is my 17 wedge, and not for golfing. And so this is going to be just XML'd so that I don't see those fins, just it's a cosmetic thing. And as you can see, those are now gone. And we'll move one over here. And I'll do the nose at some point. And we have to merge the center block to there. Sometimes it helps to have a helper block, so you want to do is find where the collision grabs right here. And we can also see if I can merge it, but yeah, see, it doesn't like that. So what you do is you find a helper block, you connect it. You connect one here, and then you want to merge it. And did I screw it up? Something happened. It didn't like that. Okay. So what you do if you're having issues with that is you load up the block itself, the 17 wedge. You take your helper block, and it's going to screw this up, isn't it? It's visually having an issue here. So this sees, that's invisible. Why is this having so many problems? See, sometimes visually they don't work right. All right, let's do this. What I will do is let's start in, let's delete this and this. Let's undo that. Let's go like this. Let's take the wedge, put the wedge on the helper block. Now let's try editing it. So I'll actually show you this time. So we'll load it. Don't do it that way. It's easier to load it from the game file itself. It's just, I don't know why it's easier that way, but it tries to order them differently. So if I order from the game files, it's the most recent one that I loaded. All right, I want this one here. Nope. Okay, what the crike? I gotta fix it again. All right. Let's just do new vehicle. Yes, let's go take a wedge. Let's stick the wedge on here. Save that as 17 wedge. Open up Notepad. Yes, we want to reload that. So we need to find out which one's wedge. As you can see, this says wedge here. So this one here, let's go 17. Let's save that. Let's go ahead and open it up in game. We'll load 17 wedge. Okay, we're gonna have graphical issues the whole frickin' time here, man. What am I clicking that's making this screwed up? Alright, that's fine. Strenner's tool again. I'm just gonna copy the whole section here. Let's go back to 17. All right, wedge. Where are we at here? All right, I'm going to open it up again. I'm actually going to go into game. I'm going to completely delete this. So I don't cause mass confusion. I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to add the wedge. Keep the helper block. Save it. 17 wide wedge. I'm going to open it up. All right. So let's see. So here's wedge. Let's go and save that. Let's open it up in game. If this has problems, we'll end here, and then I will figure this out, why I'm having issues. All right, so I'm having a graphical issue there. I don't know why I'm not getting both sides of this. It might just be stretched too far. Thinking that's it. 17. Yeah. Let's try to make some 8s. Let's go back here. Let's make this 8. See if that caused me issues. They might just have a stretch limit. That would not surprise me. See, I've done this a bunch of times and have not had this issue. All right, let's just do this. I'll try to figure this out off, see if I can't get a... Doesn't need to be a wedge either. Let's do this. Let's load... I didn't mean to load that. Let's delete this. Let's try see if I can't do this. Let's do a brand new one. It's just a square. Let's save that. A 17 block. And see if I can make the block have all the visual elements, because if it doesn't visually show, that's going to be ugly, ugly, ugly. All right, and let's go 17 on that. Save it. All right, now let's try bringing this in. Load 17 block. Do you have all your visuals? Yes, you have all your visuals. Okay, that's all I care about. I don't know why I was fussing so much about that to try to make it a wedge. The wedge was just harder. All right, let's go ahead and bring that in, and we'll put that in place. Do a quick test flight. Make sure dynamically it's working fine, and then we'll be good here. That go. Oh, come on, man. Just help me out here with your nonsense. There we go. Okay. Let's bring this in. All right, 17 wide block. Where are you at? You're right here. All right. I should have probably put a helper block on here, but oh well. Again, like I said, if it screws up again, I'm just going to do it off screen, and I'll show you what I did later. Okay, so that makes it disappear if it has the helper block on it. Try to find this friggin' collision on this so that I can get it to snap. There we go. Got it. Okay. It was just being the most pest of pests. I was struggling to find the collision when I click on it. Sometimes when you click on an XML edited block, it freaks out graphically, and then you You know, you are editing game files to get something to work with it, so it's not an intended thing to happen. There we go. Okay, good. So that is now there. Those should be hidden. Let's go ahead and check. We'll go swim underwater. Again, it's a tiny element. You barely see them, but see, now we can't see those fins. So those are hidden, but they're still actually in the water. So let's take a flight. Let's make sure that that didn't screw me up. I should have enough engine power to overcome that extra drag that I added, but we'll see. And I'm going to round the outside as well. I just, as you can see, I was struggling, so I wasn't going to worry about rounding that out yet. Try to get up to 40 here before we want to rotate. 80 knots, rotate. Yeah, oh yeah, no problem. So, all right, beautiful. So this is working really well. Those are now hidden. Yeah, I could dress them up a little bit more. But, you know, this is starting to really look and function well. You know, I'm going to do the same sort of treatment, hiding those. I'll hide those up in the fuselage. And that will really be good. We'll be in good shape here. You know, we'll start to be in the point where I can start to add things like the actual fueling elements for the fuel tanks. The other thought I had, which I might do, is the real one of these has a very large tailplane, and so I might increase the tailplane and put just roll on the tail, because that will stop that bucking as well. But it's not a big deal, as you can see. It's a little bit unsettling, but it's not bad. I can still do really sharp turns and everything else. Let's do a landing. We actually haven't really done a landing, so we'll start to. I'll take the autopilot off. I'll start to reduce my thrust. So about 80 is where, about 80 is, you know, our rotation speed. We want to come in faster than that, you know, by a little bit. So like maybe 100, touchdown at 100, maybe 90, something like that. Just gently let it settle. Gently let it settle. See where we're down to. There we go. And it settles nicely into the water. So this is going to be a really cool aircraft. This has a lot of possibilities. It's set up, so let's look in the interior. So remember, from here all the way back, we hold fuel. We don't hold a ton of fuel. I don't want a ridiculous amount. We'll be able to do rescues in this. I'm going to put a door on the wing so he can walk out. So we'll be able to walk out the wing, where the wing is. We'll be able to walk out of the wing. We'll be able to go do rescue missions. We'll be able to get people in there and very quickly be able to get them back. We should be able to go over land and over the water. We can go up to higher altitudes, but it's not a, you know, I want all my vehicles to have weaknesses. And so the weaknesses, this is not a great airplane. This is a ground effect vehicle. It does one thing well, being a ground effect vehicle. And so I think the tailplane's going to swell. I'll put all my roll on the tailplane. This will be pitch only, and I'll probably shrink these in. I can do 2 blocks more in to make those a little smaller. But I'm glad I got the control surface on here. You would not want hydraulic or otherwise or mechanical control surface sitting in the ocean like that. You kind of want this sealed up. And so this works. That is nice and aesthetically pleasing. Now you see I can't see any of my fins, so that's nice and hidden. I'm going to do the same treatment on this. We'll drag that up into the body, and I'll hide those with the same blocks. And that fixes all that issue. And I was almost thinking of making some more kind of bulbous around the wings as an attachment point, but you know, this is working really well, and so that's interior designing to be done. And so I think I'll do more of that in the career build series. So I'll button up this stuff where most of these microcontrollers, nav lights, kind of the technical behind the scenes stuff is done. And then when I play with this next in the career build series, I can decorate a little bit. you know, because that technical stuff will be done and we can actually use it in game. So maybe spend 15 minutes decorating, then go out and do a mission, maybe go grab some fuel, come back, do another 15 minutes, you know, and do it here and there. And then, you know, I like to get everything up to the point where we can easily get it in game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and enjoying the Ekranoplan, and I'll see you in the next one.